Welcome into Sports Tonight. Emily Gagnon here. It is Monday, July 22nd. It's been a while since I've been on here because of SEC Media Days happening last week. So welcome in. We've got a ton to talk about per the norm. And I think we should get started probably with Atlanta United. Over the weekend, they finally got a win. And of all teams, they beat Columbus Crew, probably one of their biggest rivals. That's the team that eliminated them last year from the postseason in the playoffs. They're the ones who went on to win it all last year as well. So this year they were favored to be one of the top three teams to win it all. So for them, it would be for a second straight season. So Atlanta United beat Columbus Crew 2-1 from Mercedes-Benz Stadium. And I got to say, more impressive than them just being able to beat one of the best teams in the league, the man who scored both goals, Steen, I think we need to give him a lot of credit because he got both headers, and it was his very first goal in MLS play, and so he gets 2 goals, and they're both headers. So Stian Gregerson, I wanted to see 60th minute and 76th minute. He scored both of those goals for Atlanta United for them to win. But let's hear from the interim head coach, from the interim manager, Rob Valentino, after the match, just being so happy that they were finally able to get an MLS win.
Curious, Coach, if the set pieces were drawn up or if they were just kind of organic.
Of course they were drawn up. Yeah.
By you, I assume?
No, us as a staff, but we have staff members did it. Liam's on fire right now. He had the kickoff and got the set pieces. And he's doing a good job.
So can you give kind of the basis of the idea behind the set piece?
Nope. No, it's the score. We always look at different ways opponents defend it and what we can do to get a chance. So, yeah, sorry to make that joke on you.
That's fine.
We always trying to score. So in some different way, whether it's a short corner, whether it's a near post, far post, middle of the goal, each team will leave something different open. So, it doesn't always go to plan, but ultimately at the end of the day, the delivery is really important. So the 2 deliveries I thought were really good, and that is the big part of it.
And were those the first 2 times you?
I can hear you.
Was that the first 2 times you tried that particular one in this match?
In this match, what do you mean? Like you saying that? Oh, from preview. Did we try that previously?
Or from just the first half?
Yeah, no, we tried. I would say we tried it in the first half as well. It just then the second half it came off.
Okay.
Rob, the team still suffered a little bit, just not having possession, which is the same as the past few games, but tonight you create 6 big chances, I think, registered. What was the difference there with the team tonight?
Yeah, I think we still created in some of the other games. I don't know about big chances or what the stat might say on some of that stuff, because you look at the Montreal game, even down a guy, we created some chances to playing more defense-minded, if you will, or whatever. But we knew coming into a game like this against Columbus that they would be really good on the ball, and so we thought that also there would be space in transition. So the big point of emphasis was being disciplined. I think when players we played these guys so many times, so they've been in it a lot, and they probably. I think I touched on it before in the media stuff before, was that saying we were going to give them a respect, we're not going to fear them, and I think they have that mutual respect. Hey, these guys are going to be on the ball, and we have to defend and be disciplined in that. And then when the moment comes and we can regain it, we need to try to punish them. So the collective work rate together was really good, but it has to be like that every game. So that is the challenge for them. They've shown me that they can do it now. So now I'm going to demand that every game.
Speaking of the work rate, Saba just doesn't seem like he stops running. And I'm curious if you've seen something different, a different version of him since he came back from the Euros, and just generally if you could just speak about what he's been adding to the team here lately.
Yeah, I don't think he's pretty consistent. I don't see anything different in terms of what he was doing before from the Euros. I think he's just excited to be back. When he came back right away. He had the chance to go and celebrate with his country going to the Euros for the first time, and he was like, no, I'll be back. I'll be ready to play in that first game that he could be available for. So I think he's got a different energy to him. Like, he's going to be a father soon at some point. So maybe that's giving him some extra energy while he can get some sleep. But yeah, that position on the field, and all of them do, but that position in particular requires a lot of work up and down, and he does the work for the team.
Use mic duck, please.
It didn't work.
Steve, I think it's working all right.
You spoke on Friday about kind of emotional stability during the game. I was curious if that was part of the messaging after y'all's 2 goals, because the team has had an unfortunate history of giving up goals in the few minutes after it scores.
Yeah, it was really touched on at halftime. I love to talk about their mentality, where they're at as people, and their perspective in that sense. I do touch on that a lot, but we touched on it at halftime because they were losing the game, and I thought they played really well. Like, call me crazy, but it was defensively really solid. They gave 1 chance away and they scored, which that sucks. It's not what we wanted. But at the same time, I let them speak, and we touched on that. Like, hey, that sucks, not great, but we're down a goal. What are we gonna do? So what's the rebound gonna be like? And once they're on the field in the second half, there's only so much we really can get across, and we try to get messages across. And yeah, we try to talk about mentality or being alert, and you're losing hand signals, and you look like an idiot on the sideline, trying all those things, but. They dug in. I think they could feel the moment, and so they dug in and they did the work to get a result. And it's the first time, if I'm right, it's the first time we've come back from a loss or from a down a goal and won a game. So that's a real positive. You guys missed that stat, huh? I'm just joking. Well, now you can tweet it later.
Bartek has been in a more advanced position, it seems like, over the last few games. How has his role shifted?
Yeah, I've asked him to be in this 8 position, like hybrid 8 position, 8/10 almost. And don't tell him it's a 10 because he was he was talking about that the other day. I think it suits him really well. He's a pretty versatile player. We ask all our players to play in positions that we feel like it highlights their strengths. This is one where it might not be the one that you think that he really, like, it's not he gets so advanced and you're thinking, is he really an advanced player? Because he works really hard, he can tackle, he can do those things, but he actually does a really good job of running in behind. He can deliver a ball on like an inverted cross, so I think it's been a good position for him. I mean, he's a tireless worker, and I'm pleased for him because I feel like he's been really good the last 2 games. Even the last game, I thought he was brilliant, and it's unfortunate that the one giveaway he had led to a goal because he was so good. So I didn't think he sulked about that, and he pushed forward because he was really good tonight.
Was it a directive to play over the top of the Cruz press, or was that just how it presented itself?
Yeah. I thought that there's a moment in the game, or there's moments in the game where, I mean, you look at the game when they played against Charlotte, it was one ball over the top that ended up being the goal that they equalized on. So it's definitely something that we touched on. I wish we could have done maybe even better with some of it, but it was something that we talked about.
This week you've gone back to using some just natural wingers with Saba and Jonde as opposed to the kind of what was happening in that back 5. Is using the wingers a product of changing out of that back 5, or was it a conscious decision to get those wingers back kind of in their natural positions?
Yeah, I mean, I think, of course, like, you change the shape so it changes their position. It was hand in hand. Like, some of it is I felt like they were in a natural position, if you will. Like, when we played a 5 at the back, we played 5-4-1. They played on the outside like they would normally in a 4-2-3-1, if you will. And then when we would go 5-2-3 and they'd press a little higher, it was maybe a little bit different than what we asked, but we typically will ask our wingers to press out in that same kind of way. So we weren't asking them to do anything different that they wouldn't be comfortable doing. But when you play with a back 4, it is different because then you're going to have less cover at the back, but sometimes that number can be wasted. I've touched on that before, is that extra number doesn't just solve problems. That number has to work. And so I think it's also the midfield shape and what that looks like, because that helps the wingers. If they jump out, they know they're going to have midfield cover, and then also the fullbacks and their work rate to be able to do that. So, I mean, it kind of goes hand in hand a little bit.
Coach, it seemed like at times Columbus was trying to manipulate the tempo and slow things down, especially in the second half. How were you guys able to whenever they did either turn it over or get in the midfield, you guys were able to just flip the tempo right back on and try to play the game at your pace.
Yeah, it was difficult. Like they do a great job at that. They can dictate tempo of the game. Like I'm really happy that they didn't play Darlington because he does a really good job at that. But we talked about what they would try to do, and I told them you're going to have to, like, that's a big reason why I use the word discipline, because that's what I thought it takes, discipline, because they will try to dictate the tempo. They try to pull you out of spaces. They want you to press. They want you to go aggressive because then they play through you. And they're really good at it. I think they're one of the best teams I've seen at it. And so when we knew they would slow things down, it was about being patient, even when you're losing a game. So like at halftime, that was something that we talked about, was that you're losing the game right now, but you don't have to win it in 10 seconds of going to press and going crazy. So you have to stay disciplined in your shape and force them into the errors so that you can change the tempo and we can go. Then once we win it back, now we can go and isolate and diagonal passes, diagonal dribbles. So we touched on that.
Wanted to ask about Jay Fortune and what your thoughts were on him as he's continuing to become more comfortable in the day-to-day and playing minutes, 90 minutes. Tonight 90 minutes was in a bunch of different defensive categories. Handful of duels won, handful of tackles, those kinds of things. What about Jay and his evolution?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked about him. He was great. I think he's been somebody that I've touched on before. That you guys have asked about him. He's nipping at the heels of all these older guys that he's got around him, and I think that's awesome that he's got maybe Bartek and Tristan aren't too much older than him, but they are older than him. So, and then you got Dax that's also helping him as well. So you've got all these guys that have got good experience and they're great players, and he's getting to see firsthand how things are done a little bit. And when he has to step in when his number's called, he's done really well. He's a really interesting player because he can play 6, he can play 8, he can play probably as a 10. So he's got a lot of different things in his locker, and he's got the aggressiveness. And I think you saw a little bit of that tonight. When he's played against Columbus before, he's been really good, and so that was something that played on my mind. And yeah, he did a great job tonight.
And sorry, last one, because I know you mentioned about being disciplined in your tempo. It really seemed like, especially at times when y'all were letting them work the ball side to side, I mean, was it part of the plan to, when they would play that first pass in, where it just seemed like y'all smothered it, put them under pressure, and made them play it right back with more of a loose ball and not being able to pick out their passes?
Yeah, we took the big thing with them is they always build in diamond shapes all around the pitch. So we touched on like being that the top and the bottom of the diamond is really important. If the pass goes sideways, it's okay. But if you jump on if you don't have protection in the middle, whether it's the top or the bottom of the diamond, that's when they try to play through you. So if you jump out and then you don't have protection on the sides, that becomes really difficult. So that was the message about that.
Any update on Daniel?
What's that?
Update on Daniel?
I don't know. I'll have to check in. The reason why we subbed him was because of the new rules. He had to be off for 2 minutes if you make a sub. That has ended up changing. But something was wrong, so we had to make a change there at some point. So hopefully nothing serious. Thank you.
Stan, is everybody good? Just after the last few games, how good does that feel to score those goals tonight?
Yeah, of course, it means a lot to be sent off from against Montreal. But yeah, I had a long week. I didn't play in the middle of the week, and I rest well and work hard, and I had a lot of energy to this game. And yeah, scoring 2 goals in one game, I haven't ever done that before, so it's good to do it here in Mercedes-Benz Stadium and in front of this amazing fans.
The team suffered a lot tonight, just not having a lot of the ball, but you were able still to create a lot of big chances. What's the feeling of when you come back from a losing position, you don't have a lot of the ball, but then you ultimately get the win?
No, I think we show a good mentality today. We know that I think maybe it's the best team to play in football, today we was very good, compact, and we punished them a lot with counter-attack, and we could score more goals. So yeah.
Did you feel more comfortable tonight just playing next to Derek? I mean, that was kind of the partnership that you had to start the season when you were in really good form, both of you guys together. Does that help you guys, you think?
Yeah, we had a good chemistry today. We talk a lot, and I think it suits us very well to play like that.
Does the back line feel more comfortable in general in the back four?
We can play both, of course, but like you saw today, we was very compact, and they didn't make so many chances. We was a little bit unlucky with the goal, and that's it.
Have you scored twice in a game before?
No, it's first time.
First time ever?
Yeah.
And Coach said that y'all tried that set piece a few times in the first half. What was the difference between it working and it not working?
We work every week, but this week we work a little bit extra. I talk a lot with Liam, and and you can see today. I think it's a team goal. Jay have amazing blocks for me, so I can go up alone there 2 times and score a goal. And it was a fantastic serve to Sab also. So it's planned to score like that. So it's very good that it's working.
Was there something specific about the way Columbus defended set pieces that made y'all think this is going to work?
They have a lot of man in the zone, and you can sprint from the back in the Dam's back, and have a fantastic block from Jay also. So I was free, and and the serve was perfect, exactly there it's gonna be for me, and let's go. Yeah.
Thank you.
What's the backstory behind the salute celebration?
It was in the Europa League. It was the striker from Zenit, and he do that in front of 50,000 people, and I saw that. So I think one time I'm gonna do it, and I do it in Bordeaux last season, and I was waiting to do it here also because it's amazing celebrating.
What striker? Who was it?
You can check it up.
Okay.
Stian and Derek was, so they try to give them the pass, give them the cross, and that's it.
Coach said that y'all tried it a few times. It didn't work until obviously the 2 times in the second half. What happened on the first few times y'all tried that?
No, I tried. I think I made good crosses also in the first half, but like till you score, you don't score. You have to try, So you cannot score every corner, but you have to try your best. I just try my best, and that's it.
Thank you.
Brad and you also said at the end of the NYCFC match that you guys needed to change something mentality-wise coming through. What did you guys shift in practice to help see the result you did today?
Yeah, you are doing our job, and honestly, it's really, really nice feeling when you're losing against one of the best team in MLS in the first half, and you're coming back in the second half and score 2 goals and you won the game. So probably it will help us, in this game, mentally and everything like come back.
Coming into halftime, you guys were down 1-0. What was the message in halftime going back out?
Yeah, we were more relaxing, and we just focused in our game, and we did it.
All right, so that was Saba Lobjaniste talking about their match on Saturday, their win over Columbus Crew. That's Atlanta United. You also heard from Stian Gregerson, who made the 2 goals that night, both headers, and now they turn their focus to the League's Cup. On Friday, they'll be playing DC United from Mercedes-Benz Stadium, not MLS play, but League Cup play. So a lot going on for them right now, and today they confirmed, made it official that Caleb Wiley has been transferred to Chelsea. So, we learned about this a few weeks ago, or within the last couple of weeks, I should say, and but the club made it official today. Before you see him playing for Chelsea, you will see him playing for the U.S. in the upcoming Olympics. The opening ceremony coming up in 4 days, and the Olympics, the Summer Olympics, will be from Paris, in case you did not know. So a lot of exciting things on the horizon for Caleb Wiley, who gets to play in the Olympics and who gets to play for Chelsea, really a great club over in Europe. He did some great things for Atlanta United, and it paid off for him in being able to go play, in Europe and experience all of the soccer, or I should say football, over there. So, guys, this is kind of exciting. Football, I guess you could say, is officially back. Training camp for the Falcons kicks off Wednesday. They have to report to camp that morning, and they will have their first training camp practice the very next day, Thursday. So things get serious in Flowery Branch in just a couple of days. They stay on campus. They have dorms on campus. All distractions are out of the way. All the players are going to stay there in these dorms. They look more like apartments, but they are on the back of the facility. So you've got, the workout room, the locker room, all types of things in one building. You've got practice fields, and then behind the practice fields, you've got these dorms. So players stay on campus the entire time. They have a cafeteria there. They stay there through at least the first game of the preseason, depending on what Raheem Morris, the head coach, wants them to do. But it's definitely a couple of weeks of fully loaded practices, walkthroughs, study, and they have to hang out with each other until they are let free. But a lot of players don't look forward to this time. They look forward to playing. They look forward to being with each other. But it is strenuous. It's a lot of heat as far as being outside, especially in this Georgia weather. Imagine Florida. It's a lot. But this is what makes them better. This is what will bring them together. They'll be in the preseason, and then before you know it, in about 6 weeks, they'll be playing their very first game of the regular season. So this week, starting Wednesday, we'll be talking about the Falcons heavily, and we will not stop talking about them until January. But Casey Washington, one of their rookies, we heard from him, and I think we should play some of his interview that we got ahead of this week. For rookies, it's their real first taste of what the NFL is like. I mean, of course, you have rookie minicamp, and you have mandatory minicamp, and you have the preseason program, but nothing is quite like training camp. So let's hear from him.
Yeah, I just want to be the best version of myself, If you look at it big picture, you could get caught up in pressure, putting pressure on yourself, unneeded pressure, but just taking it one day at a time and just being the best Casey as possible.
What are you most looking forward about joining this wide receiver group and Ike as your coach? He's someone who, his history kind of speaks for itself, but what are you most looking forward about working with him?
Just to learn. Being around competitors like the ones in our room, it's special. And the opportunity that I have right now to grow and just absorb and be a sponge from these guys, like I said, just take it one day at a time, and I'm going to enjoy it.
You and John kind of have that, the camaraderie from last year, but now, here with the lefty spin, what is that kind of like?
Yeah, it's definitely different, but as a receiver, it's just see ball, get ball. So when that ball is in the air, I just got to attack it and make the play.
What's he been like, kind of trying to learn more about him, Mike?
He's awesome. Yesterday, we actually, in the group chat, he hit us up for a walkthrough, and we just went over the plays. I think, him early on getting us out there as a group and, showing himself as a leader is special. And obviously, who he is as a football player is also there. But, just to get out here and compete with each other, it's pretty special.
You mentioned watching him kind of last year at times and, the reputation that he earned for himself. What kind of image in your head maybe was there, like, when you met him here?
There's a lot of stars, like I just said, Kirk Cousins, seeing him in the locker room, and in this football space, I guess, going along the journey of going to the All-Star games and getting around, guys that, have this kind of platform. At first, you could be like, wow, like it is. They're awesome. But, they're just normal people. They're super humble guys, and they work hard, and they're just my teammates now. So I'm excited.
Big Red, we didn't get a spot of Big Ten down here this year. Where'd they move you around at? Where'd you play most at for Illini? And where do you think you might fit in here in the NFL?
I played a lot of exit Illinois, but as much as I can learn in the playbook and take in, I'm willing to play everything. I know I want to play everything. So just getting in the playbook is big for me right now, and learning as much as possible. Yeah, if you look at the iPad, they gave us an iPad with the playbook. You could get, kind of blown away from, how much is in there. But like I said, and kind of my whole approach is just one step at a time. So getting the practice script today, taking that in, and just, getting with guys and going over the script and getting as many mental reps as possible, just so that it could be as easy as possible when I get the physical side. So, like I said, just getting as much mental reps as possible, and just taking it one day at a time.
The last year, mid-round pick did pretty good in this offense. Is that in the back of your mind?
Puka Nakua?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I know who that is. Yeah.
So you know where I was heading.
Yeah, for sure. It's great to see the success that he's had, and knowing that it's in this office. This offense is super exciting for me. But if you get caught up in comparing yourself, you could lose sight of really what matters. So for me, it's just taking it one day at a time, learning this playbook, and just competing and getting out there and being the best me.
All right, guys. So Falcons training camp reporting on Wednesday, starting Thursday, bright and early, 9:30, and it'll be our first look at Kirk Cousins, Michael Penix Jr. truly competing ahead of the season. Should be a fun one, given just the fact that there are two quarterbacks in Atlanta, very much able and competing. Even though it appears the Falcons will have Kirk, start this year and perhaps the year after, and then work Michael Penix Jr. in, but we just don't know. We'll see what happens. But it will make for interesting chatter up until the season starts and even throughout the season. Let's talk about the Braves before I let you go. Injuries. It took up so much of the first half of the season, right? The injuries that the Braves have sustained, their starting pitcher, then Acuna, Michael Harris II, Max Fried. I mean, there are so many players who are either done for the season, including Spencer Strider and Acuna Jr., or players who are waiting to come back, rehabbing from injuries in Harris II and Fried. But all that to say, the second half of the season started the same way the first half has gone. And I say that because Ozzie Albies fractured his left wrist yesterday. It was late in the game. He kind of bent it when he tried to tag someone out at second, but he'll be out for 8 weeks. So Ozzie Albies out for 8 weeks with a broken wrist, kind of one of those like freak accidents. But now Nacho Alvarez, he will play tonight. The Braves, he is their top prospect, coming in from AAA Gwinnett. So you hate to have him come in this situation because you hate to lose Ozzie Albies as a Braves fan. But at least you get to see one of the guys that they have in the pipeline. You get to see Alvarez, wear a Braves uniform and see if he can perform in the majors. So that's one thing. And something else pretty unique. The Braves signed Whit Merrifield from the Phillies. And while he was warming up before the game tonight out on the field, he was taking grounders. He hurt himself. He hurt himself taking grounders. I guess the ball hit one of his fingers wrong, and he injured his finger. So his status is unknown right now, but go figure. He gets to the team, and he's almost injured immediately. So the Braves really can't get a break with all these injuries that their players continue to suffer, but we'll see in the second half of the season how they do. They took 1 of 3 over the weekend. Now they host the Reds, start a new season tonight. Or not a new season, a new series tonight. So it's just these injuries are really one of the biggest storylines of the season, and you hope that they stop. But we'll see what they can do here in the second half. And again tonight, starting a new series against the Reds, and they only won 1 game of 3 over the weekend to start up the second half. That'll be it for me for tonight, guys. Monday, July 22nd, football. It's on the horizon. Lots to be excited about. We will see you tomorrow. I can switch it.